After understanding, today we are going to do the present indefinite, present continuous, and present perfect category only. So let's start the topic. Before understanding the concept of the active and passive, we have to understand what actually the voice is. Voice is a form of verb that represents how the subject is working and how much priority is being given to the object. On this basis, voice has been divided into two categories. The first one is active and the second one is passive. Active voice. Definition: when the subject of the sentence is the doer of an action, the verb is in the active voice. एक्टिव वॉइस एक ऐसे सेंटेंस को रिप्रेजेंट करता है जहाँ सब्जेक्ट खुद काम करता है या एक्शन परफॉर्म करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ही राइट्स अ लेटर. Here he as a subject is performing an action. We love our country. Again, we as a subject is performing an action here. Now, the passive voice definition: when the subject of the sentence is the receiver of an action, the verb is in the passive voice. पैसिव वॉइस में ऑब्जेक्ट स्टार्टिंग में आता है और सब्जेक्ट एंड में, क्योंकि सब्जेक्ट पर एक्शन परफॉर्म किया जाता है या सब्जेक्ट के लिए एक्शन परफॉर्म किया जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेटर इज़ रिटन बाय हिम. ख़त उसका लिखा हुआ है. Here the object letter is written first and the subject is written in the end. While converting the active voice into passive, we know that in passive the subject is to be written in the end. So due to that, some differences come in the personal pronoun. Like in active voice, I being a subject, when comes in the end in the passive voice changes into me. We will change into us in passive voice, you will remain same, he into him, she into her, it will remain same, and they will get changed into them in the passive voice. Now there are some rules of the change in the helping verbs. Like if your active voice is in the present indefinite tense, the helping verbs to be used in the passive voice will be is, am and are. Same if your active voice is in the continuous tense, while changing into passive, the helping verbs to be used are, is being, am being, and are being. In the perfect, when changing into passive voice, helping verbs will be has been, have been. Now I am explaining you the structure of a sentence of active voice when it is in present indefinite. First comes the subject, someone who does an action, then verbs first form, and in the last the object. When you are going to change the active of present indefinite into passive, the object will be written first, then you have to use a helping verb, is, am, or are. Is used with the singular object and are with the plural object. Then you have the third form of the verb, then by, and in the last you have to add a subject in the passive voice. Now we are going to change some sentences from active to passive voice. Carpenter makes a beautiful cupboard. Carpenter is a subject who is performing an action, makes verb first form, and we have added as carpenter is a singular subject, and then in the last there is an object, a beautiful cupboard. Passive voice. A beautiful cupboard is made by carpenter. Here object is written first, a beautiful cupboard. Then as the object is a singular object, that's why I have written is here as a helping verb. Then in the last, made by carpenter. Second example, active voice. Washerman washes the clothes. Passive, the clothes are washed by washerman. The clothes is a plural object, that's why I have chosen the helping verb are here. And then verb third form washed by, and then in the last the subject washerman. Active voice. Students solve the sums. Passive, the sums are solved by students. Active voice. He does the work. Passive, the work is done by him. The work is a singular object, that's why helping verb is used here. Then verb third form by, and the last him. He is changed into him according to the rule that we have already discussed. Now past indefinite in active voice, subject first, then verb second form, and then object. In passive, object, and then helping verbs to be used here are was and were. Was with the singular object, were with the plural, verb third form, then you have to add by, and in the last you have to add the subject. Example, of active voice, carpenter made a beautiful cupboard. Its passive voice is a beautiful cupboard was made by carpenter. As a beautiful cupboard is a singular subject, that's why I have used the helping verb was here. Then another example, washerman washed the clothes. Passive, the clothes were washed by washerman. Here the clothes is a plural object, that's why I have used the helping verb were here. Active voice, students solved the sums. Passive, the sums were solved by students. Again, active voice, he did the work. Passive voice, the work was done by him. Now the last category of today, future indefinite. In future indefinite, in the structure of active voice, subject comes first, helping verbs will or shall, then verbs first form, and in the last the object. Then in passive voice, object is to be written first, then you have to add the helping verbs will be or shall be, then verbs third form, then by, and in the last you have to add the subject here. Now the first example of active voice, carpenter will make a beautiful cupboard. Here carpenter is a subject, will is a helping verb, make is a verb's first form, a beautiful cupboard is an object. Passive, a beautiful cupboard will be made by carpenter. A beautiful cupboard is an object, will be is a helping verb, made verb's third form, then I have added by, and in the last here comes the subject carpenter. Now the second one, active voice, washerman will wash the clothes. Washerman is a subject here, will the helping verb, wash is a verb's first form, the clothes is the object. Now in the passive voice, the object is to be written first. So I have written the clothes, the object first, then the helping verb will be, then washed as a verb's third form, then I have added by, and in the last the subject washerman. Number third, active voice, students will solve the sums. Students, the subject, will, the helping verb, solve, the verb's first form, the sums is the object here. Now, passive voice of the sentence, the sums will be solved by students. Here, object, the sums is written first, then the helping verb will be, then verb's third form solved, then by, and in the last here comes the subject, students according to the rule. Now, the fourth and the last example, in the active voice, he will do the work. He is a subject here, will is a helping verb, do is the verb's third form, the work is a object. Now, passive voice, according to the rule, we have to bring the object first. So, the work object, then you have to use the helping verb will be, then verb's third form will be used here, that is done, then by, and in the last we have used him. And here you can see that in the active voice, the subject he, the pronoun, when comes in the end, in the passive voice according to the rule, changes into him. This is the condition that we have discussed in the starting. Here I am ending today's topic, as this was all for today. I hope you have understood the topic.